We're quite the combo.
The President of the United States was accusing you of voter fraud.
Oh, I know it, and I knew it wasn't fraud.
Person, Mr. Mark Wingate, Mr. Aaron Johnson, and Dr. Kathleen Ruth. I have one announcement to make, and that is that this teleconference meeting is authorized pursuant to Section 50-14-1G of the Official Code of Georgia because of the public health state of emergency declared by Governor Kemp on March 14th, 2020, and recently renewed because means have been afforded for the public to have simultaneous access to this teleconference. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have in front of you a very short agenda. Please take a moment to look at it and tell me any additions or corrections, or I will take a motion.
Madam Chair, I so move to open this meeting as of this morning. What is it? January the 19th, 2021.
And approve the agenda?
And approved it, yes.
Okay.
Second.
And it's been properly moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor say aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
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 Aye, all of us. Any nays? No. We have an agenda, and we have, after the approval of our agenda, only one thing, which is the recertification of returns. And I will turn this over to Mr. Rick Barron to ask him why we are here yet again.
Well, over the weekend, Dominic and Derek have to prepare ballot images to send them to the state, and that's one thing that we do on election night. We have to create a spreadsheet because EMS, election management system, doesn't have a dashboard to tell you which compact flashes have been uploaded. So Derek and Dominic created a spreadsheet that they coordinated with Dominion. On election night, there were 4 compact flashes that hadn't been uploaded, and those were 4 0 compact flashes. They were poll managers that had a second scanner in their precinct in which they didn't use. So we retrieved those 4 compact flashes the next day, uploaded those. There were no results on them. Over the weekend, Derek and Dominic were preparing the ballot images to send to the state. And then I got a call yesterday afternoon to ask if we could check 2 precincts, MLO 1A and MLO 1B from the state. And I asked Derek to look through those. He looked through them, said there were ballot images for them. And then he checked the results, and the compact flashes didn't upload. The results file on those compact flashes, for whatever reason, didn't go into the tabulator. So Derek's going to get with Dominion today to see why that happened. And then, so we had to add those two precincts into the results. And so we talked yesterday, and he's going to add another step to verify a verification to make sure that this part of it doesn't happen again. And it's going to be through an individual. The SOVC report that you guys get, that you received on Friday, contains all 4 buckets: election day, early voting, provisional, and absentee. So he's going to have to break that down and pull an SOVC report on each individual bucket to verify that going forward in the future. Some of the things that we were learning about this system, I think the previous system we had was much easier to verify some of these things. We have to do more manual verification on this. So that's essentially what happened.
All right. I am sure there are questions or comments from board members. Anyone?
Yeah, Madam Chair, thank you. Director, help us to understand because I tell you I don't. When the poll is going through its closeout the night of election in this particular case, wouldn't it be found very quickly that there is some out of balance in the votes cast?
Well, that's another thing that we do after the election, but the votes cast On election night, we get these compact flashes. They're delivered down to us. And so what we do is we upload each one of those into EMS. As we upload each one, we put them into a spreadsheet that shows that they're uploaded, and we can verify that there are ballot images in there. And so the only way, what Derek and I discussed, is that they're going to have to pull an SOBC election day report at the end of each election night to make sure that it isn't just ballot images, that there are actual tabulated results on each one of those. Because if there are ballot images in there, then it should follow that there are tabulated results. So that's why Derek needs to go ahead and he needs to contact Dominion and ask why this happened. So we can't just rely on the fact that there are images in there. We need to make sure that the results are actually tabulated for that precinct. And because there were results in there for absentee and for early voting. But yeah, this is a step that we've got to add another step to our verification.
But the thumb drives then that came out, you said for that particular precinct, there were 2 scanners?
That is for Milton Library. So is Derek on? I don't know if there were 2 scanners. There's 2 precincts that are assigned to that. They're both assigned to that. So
okay.
Both of the ballot styles are going to go onto that scanner.
Right.
And so that compact flash was actually uploaded.
But there's
right,
no,
Derek?
in the Dominion.
Yeah, there's only one scanner.
There was one scanner.
One scanner. Okay, so, but help us to understand, because I'm being very honest, I don't. In that, we have, or we should have, the number of scanned ballots than in that one scanner that was at Milton Library on election day, correct? And that would have a total number of ballots that were scanned in. Isn't there any reconciliation back even to the knowing pad? Because we should then have some record as to how many voters that we, if you will, checked in.
We don't get that. We don't get that until, we can't start reconciling that until usually a couple days before certification. Because we have to get that report from NoInk. And NoInk, and Derek can correct me if I'm wrong, I think NoInk sends those to the state, or NoInk sends those directly to us. But those aren't compiled then on election night. So we don't have any way to balance those then.
Okay.
So that's like the post-election process that we do. And it's something that, so that's why we need to print out this SOBC report to make sure that every precinct has something in it.
All right. Okay. I hear what you're saying. Well, whatever it has that has to be done clearly, wherever that comes from, that needs to be balanced, reconciled, whatever term you wish to use, before we get in a room and certify these elections.
Yes.
That to me is really the underpinning of all of this, is that, yeah, maybe this is being learned as we go because it's a new platform. I get that, but yeah, we're going to have to make sure that.
Yeah, this is something that this will be in our review, because we're going to change a bunch of procedures and processes on a number of things based on this year. So that's going to be one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're now what is today? I said the 19th. So we're 2 weeks now post, the actual election day. That has to get cleaned up.
Yes.
That has to get cleaned up.
Okay, Ms. Newridan?
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Ms. Newridan?
Yes. How did you find out there was a problem?
We got a call from the state, and they asked us to check those 2 precincts because we have ballot images for them, but they asked us to check to make sure, because it seemed to them that the election day bucket didn't have a result in them.
Oh, I see. I see. For Milton, what's that 1A and 1B? They were reading a zero results on election night reporting.
Yeah, in the SOV on the election day bucket, it had zeros in them.
And
But for
so
some reason, the ballot.
what would cause that? Can Mr. Gilstrap speak on why numbers weren't uploaded for those precincts?
Yes. Usually according to our Dominion Tech, actually it's our tech now, Dominique. Usually we get an alert if it didn't get uploaded, the results didn't get uploaded. So the ballot images got uploaded, but the results didn't get uploaded, and we had to.
Mr. Gilstrap, thank you for that, because I think just simply put, those two precincts were reading zero for results, and we're now certifying the actual count that you guys did count but didn't upload. From my understanding, they were gathered and counted correctly. It just wasn't, somehow it got missed being uploaded for those two precincts.
Yeah, well, see what we do. Since the new system doesn't have a dashboard, we created a spreadsheet of each scanner that we sent out and each compact flash card. What happened is that we did receive that compact flash card, and the results were uploaded, and we were able to highlight that on our spreadsheet. But as far as us being able to recognize that it didn't get uploaded, it's no way unless we actually have to pull that election day SOVC, something that we realized once we did the card, once we saw that the card didn't get uploaded and we uploaded it.
So was it, well, thank you so much. And I understand. Thank you so much, Director Barron. Once you found out that those two precincts weren't uploaded, did you have your staff check all remaining precincts?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Derek and Dominic went through everything for all the buckets to make sure that they were all in there.
And I'm hearing you say buckets to me, individual precincts.
Yeah, a bucket is.
Yeah, because I'm more concerned about the precincts, because the Milton Library, two precincts there that voted that poll uploaded as well weren't in the dash or Dominion. I think the real concern is just the lack of process in confirming that information was correct on election night.
Yeah,
so, and you did speak to looking at those policies and changing them here.
Yeah.
But, go ahead. I'm sorry. That's it for me too, Madam Chair.
And when I buckets, there's an election. The results go into election day, early voting, and absentee by mail on election night, and then they go into provisional later. So each one of those, but I call those buckets because everything drops into them, and then they're for each precinct. So, and as we said, we will look at the SOVC election day report on election night to make sure that even if we won't take the fact that we have ballot images, for granted. That means that the results were tabulated. And then Derek today is going to get with Dominion to find out why that happened.
Yeah, let me add, Vernetta, there was, I don't know where the zeros come from, but what got reported from A and B, ML01 A and B, A had 1,627 votes cast on election day, and B had 424.
Yes. And
so,
those are actually, those are the combined buckets. Those are all four buckets combined into that. So that would be election day, provisional, early voting, and absentee by mail. So what we have to do is break that down into the 5-column report, which would have the total plus each one of those. And we'll break them down. We'll print them individually so that what we'll do from now on election night is print that one out and check each one of those against the spreadsheet to make sure that even though it was uploaded, that there was actually a result that was put into that.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
But
sorry.
bottom line is that you had the images
Yes.
and that was transmitted into EMS.
Yes. Yeah. And
And
that's a
what
file
didn't and what didn't happen on 660 voters' ballots, they did not get included in the totals for the votes cast for those two precincts. So
correct.
what you're trying to work with Dominion on is how in the world does that happen?
Yes. Yeah. And we had
That's the bottom line to this.
yes.
Wow.
So I wanted to tell Mr. Wingate and my colleagues on the board, and I'm sure Mr. Barron got this, and I'm not sure if the issue could have been prevented or if it was procedures just not in place to verify every single precinct on election night. But what the email that I sent you, I received last night. It's a print screen on January 8th of Milton reporting 0 votes in the election night reporting system, which from my understanding, and that's in your mailbox, Mark, which is my understanding, is the system that's my source. The election night reporting system is where I go. And from my understanding, every county uploads the information into the system.
Yes, that's correct.
So if on January 8th, one of the Milton polls was showing 0 counted, my concern is, was it counted on election night? I have no way of knowing that. I definitely don't have any way of telling if this was an issue with Dominion or if a memory card just wasn't uploaded or whatever that process is to get the votes from the county up into election night reporting system. But yeah, it seems real convoluted in the way it's being presented to the board. And I'm just very concerned because on January 8th, the images on there reported 0 votes.
Then that's what Derek needs, because when I talked to Derek yesterday, he said there were ballot images in there, and I guess Derek can speak to this. He said the ballot images were actually there for the file that they have to transmit to the state. So why those weren't tabulated, that's what we need to find out today.
Thank you, sir.
But I agree with you, Vernetta. This is something that this is something that we should have caught, and so there's something else we're going to add to this, and that election night reporting is we don't use that to verify. We usually use what we get out of the election management system to verify it, and that's a file. We create a file, and then we take that over to ENR, and then we upload that into ENR.
And so maybe that process is the problem then, adding that to the process.
Yes,
thank you for that. I appreciate your candor. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions, Mr. Johnson? When you unmute.
Always hard to find the cursor and the mute button. I just want to be clear that it's a net difference of 660 votes.
Yeah, that's right, Derek?
Yes, correct.
660 votes, and that's for both of them together.
Yes. Yeah, one of the precincts has very few registered voters.
It looks like one was 541 and one was 119, but I just wanted to be making sure what I'm looking at is correct. But most of my questions were answered already, so I just wanted to be sure on the number.
Okay, yes. And by asking that question, you've answered mine. Any other questions or comments? All right, are we ready for a recertification. And hearing nothing and relying on my colleagues to keep me straight, Mr. Barron, I have in my hand the election summary report for the general and special election runoff on January 5th, 2021 for the U.S. Senate seat occupied by David Perdue, the U.S. Senate seat occupied by Kelly Loeffler, and the Public Service Commission District 4 seat occupied by Lauren Bubba McDonald Jr., and 48 pages of the printout of the statement of votes cast in each of those precincts. Is it your testimony and certification that these are a true count of the votes cast on January 5th in these races?
Yes.
All right, I will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second, Madam Chair.
Thank you. It has been properly moved and seconded to certify the stated results for the elections that I have named and the summary of which I have in my hand. Any further discussion? All right. Let us do this by the book. All in favor, say aye. Cooney, aye. Johnson?
Aye.
Newridden?
Aye.
Ruth?
Aye.
Wingate?
Aye.
And any nays? The ayes have it. It is unanimous. Thank you all very much. And I trust that this concludes what we need to do and that we have things to think about for the future.
Yeah, and I'll let you guys know what Derek finds out today too.
Okay. Any further business to come before this board? I'll
I
entertain.
just wanted to add, it would be great if we could get a report of the Dominion's findings, their answer around why this happened.
Mr. Barron?
I
Something
don't know if it was me but all of a sudden she froze after the word Dominion.
And let's see, where is she? Dr. Ruth?
So if we could get a report around why this happened after your meeting with Dominion, that would be sent to all of us. That's
what I was going to do.
Yep.
Okay. Is there any other business to come before this board this morning? And once again, with thanks to everybody here, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
And is properly seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your hand and wave. And goodbye and say aye.
Goodbye.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye now.